Hello? Once you are on, I will get you on now. Invite you now. Mm. Okay. Mm. Okay. Um, having issues. Hello. Hi, hi. I can see Mr. Shamsuddin. Can you hear me? Uh, can you hear me? Tell me you can hear me, but I can't. I can see you, but okay. Okay, great.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. That's great.
Okay. All right.
Mm.
This
So
is
we
not the
wait
stream yard
for
is not so bad
that.
though. Is
It's
that
not. Oh, yeah. I had to go and do a lot of
I've got to ask though, is there any background noise from my end?
No, 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 no,
Okay.
no.
Not bad then. There should be background
It's not
noise.
bad at
I
all.
have AC plus fan plus everything.
Yeah, I can't hear it. So it has a
I
nice noise cancellation.
mm, mm, not bad.
So let
So
me
my people
try
have
and
been
get.
showing.
Um, they have showed me Pepe.
Mm, they're still coming. In the time
Uh,
that okay, it's 1 minute
I
to go live now though.
yeah, yeah. We're live. We're live actually. We're live. We're live. Okay, so I don't know why I can't see Madame Raleigh.
What happens if I go off this app?
Then you have to click in to come back in.
Okay.
So I'm trying to get her to.
Mm.
Hello, everyone. You're welcome. Good evening, and thank you for joining us. We'll just wait for our second guest to join us. Thank you so much for coming on board. We already have so many people sending questions straight up. They just came in and they sent questions. They are not they are not
I ask people to
playing at
send in their
all.
question. I ask them to send their questions straight because this time is not going to be enough. So we've got, I mean, first come first serve. We're going to say
I know.
as many as possible. So I can imagine.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
uh,
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we have so many questions already, which is okay. So as soon as we start, we're just trying to get Madame Raleigh to come in. Um,
uh, Your microphone. You need to unmute your microphone. Oh, okay, she's on a call. Okay. Ni Mensa, good evening, everybody. I can see all your comments. There's so many comments coming in. Unwodo, Ralia, Balkis, Jennifer, Hudu, Hafsal. We're going to go through everything.
Hello,
Hello,
everyone.
everyone.
Thank you. Thank you. I can see your comments. Um, so we'll just wait for Madam Raliat, who's joining us very shortly. Okay. Mr. Giwa, you can see all the questions, right?
Yeah. People are not smiling.
They are not joking at all. I wonder how 2 hours is going to be.
Oh, I
Hello,
knew.
so nice to see
It's always been like
you.
that.
Can you see somebody's hands?
I can see his hand. Salam alaikum. But we don't want to lie.
Shamsuddin, can you see his hand?
Oh, I can see. I can see hands. I'm going to come back specially to come and greet.
He's coming specially to come and greet.
No problem, brother. I'm expecting you.
All right.
So,
thank you. Thank you. We are live. We are live. We are live.
And everyone can see and hear you.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to Ha.dTalks with Ini. It is so exciting. Thank you so much for joining us. It is I mean, I've gotten so many requests today that my head is spinning. Obviously, this is a very important topic, but I know that most of the followers are Mr. Giwa's people. So thank you for joining. Thank you for coming aboard this evening. Such a pleasure to have you all. And thank you to my guests. Thank you, Mr. Shamsuddin Giwa. Thank you for accepting to do this. Thank you, Mrs. Riley Asoyetunde. Thank you for doing this. Um, if you're following, I'm sure you read the little bit that I put up about them. We want to maximize as much time as we can. And then I can assure you that if we're unable to go as much as we want to, then we may have to find time to come back again on this because I can see that we already have so many questions. So many people have a lot of questions that they are already sending in, but we'll try as much as possible to see how far we can go and take it up from there. So welcome to my guest, Mr. Shamsuddin Giwa is a marriage therapist. He's also a counselor and, a columnist at the leadership. And he has such a huge following because I think that one of the beautiful things about Shamsuddin is that he cuts across religion, class, race, whatever you want to call it, and just addresses the issue. And I think that that was one of the things that really drew me to his write up. You address the issues, you hit it right on the head. And from a man's perspective, you're also not only talking to women because sometimes you find that people are talking, they're not talking with. But the difference with you is that you talk with people and you address the heart of the matter, irrespective of the gender. So one can actually find themselves, whether you're a man or a woman, you can find yourself in the conversations that you have. So I want to salute you and I want to say thank you for absolutely doing a fantastic work. And then, of course, to my sister, Ralia Toyetunde is not my friend. She's my sister. She's my blood sister. That's how much we've come. We've known each other forever. So we're more or less sisters. But one of the things that I know about Ralia is that she's had the opportunity to talk to quite a number of young women and men in some cases, but more young women, both single and married, around issues of marriage and counseling. She does a lot of counseling, and using it from the Islamic perspective and trying to be as. And then she's also very grounded on both sides of the religion. So whether as a Christian, whether as a Muslim, she's very grounded. And that's the beautiful thing about the two of my guests. Shamsuddin, of course, understands how the different perspective works. So today, of course, Shamsuddin will share his experience, and then, of course, not just his experience, but his perspective as a qualified marriage therapist. And then, of course, Raliat will share her experience with having to talk with real life practical experiences. So you're in for a treat. And I'm going to come from my perspective. As I said to someone, my past life, my former life, I was a pastor for over 15 years and had to do quite a lot of counseling work. I had to turn down a lot of people, when it was time for them to marry, and say, look, I can't join you because from what I have seen, both of you are not ready to be joined. And then they will leave and some other pastor will join them. So I always had problems, They were always reporting me to headquarters that, what kind of human being is this and things. So you're going to hear so the thing with Ha.dTalks, I always like to put this caveat. The thing with Ha.dTalks is that it is Ha.dTalks. We are not here to manage issues. We say it the way it is. So if you find that as you are on the stream, you are not comfortable with anything, please do not send any abusive comments. We will block you and I'll make sure I report your account. Just go off. Just go off. Because it is Ha.dTalks with Ini. And anybody that knows me know that I'm a very practical person and I say it the way it is. I have no apologies. I've lived long enough to see a lot of things. Don't mind this young face. I have lived long enough to see and know a lot of things. So please, if you're not comfortable, you can go off. It's fine. Maybe another conversation, you can always come on. But here we are here to have Ha.dTalks and to talk about the issues. So today we're talking about premarital counseling, and we're talking about the what, the who, the where, the when, the why, and the how. I put it like this because so that we can also, talk about a lot of things, values, personal values. Why do people give up their values when it comes to marriage? Why do people, settle for less than you ever can think about? What are some of the things that people are afraid of to ask questions? Why don't people ask questions before they get married? Is it age? Is it the fact that if they ask too many questions, the man will run away or the girl will say no? And I want you to please be kind enough to share the experiences that you've seen over the years so that we can help as much as you. As you can see, we have so many. We have over, God knows how many questions already here. And then, we will take it on as we go. We're just going to flow as it goes. So my first question would be, let me start with Madam Ralia. They say ladies first.
Amen.
Riley, you've been around a long time and you've seen quite a lot. You've had quite a lot of experience talking to young people, a lot of young Muslima people, a lot of people in the Ummah, not just in Muslim, not just Muslimas as well. Young people who you've worked with, whether they are Christians or Muslims, irrespective, have always reached out to you when they have issues around, their marriage and all that. Now, from what you have seen dealing with a lot of marriage issues, what would you say that how important is premarital counseling? So let's take it from there.
Okay. Thank you, Sister Ini. For me, it's premarital counseling. It's something that every intending couple should have. Those days, if you remember, the Catholics go for pre-marriage counseling. Unfortunately, in this other side of the religion, in Islam, we don't have such. However, there are guiding principles when you are courting, that a man and a woman can't stay together alone without a chaperone. So for me, that's an informal way of a counselor being in place. However, what I've realized, because in the last 12 years, I've had to deal with women age 18 to 35. And I keep telling everybody or every woman I come in contact with that a woman is not confident or sexually aware of herself until she's 35. So when they want to get married, there is this rush, first of all, to catch up with the Joneses. There is the pressure that the parents put on you, quickly marry. And I will tell you, personally, I was a victim of that. I remember when I came straight out of school and I started banking. Here was a young generation bank, short skirt, and so on. And within 6 months, I knew every male customer that I marketed wanted to have something to do with me. And my parents were like, you're a young girl, Muslim girl, please get married, and you must marry somebody of our tribe. So foolish, I rushed in because I saw a man of my tribe that would speak the same language. Despite the fact that I was in love with somebody else, I went and married this man, and trust me, 8 months down the line, the marriage went down because we did not have the same view. We didn't sit down to talk about who we are. What do we want in life? We did not sit down to talk about our finances. One of the key things that broke that marriage was our finances. Now, because I was a very well brought up girl, when I collect my salary, when I get from bank now, a princess, I have nothing to do with money. I'll collect the cash. When I get home, I will kneel down and I'll give the man. And expect my feeding allowance from there. I'll just be a good girl. Until one day I noticed that, this my money is going the other way. And I raised objection. And that was when the true man that I married came to be. And like I always tell everybody, you will know when to cut it. I quickly killed that marriage because you were not going to abuse me psychologically that I'm nothing or I'm not good enough to earn that money. So before a couple go into this contract, marriage is a contract. Before you go into contract, just like every contract, there should be terms and conditions they must apply. Know the background. Don't marry below your level. Don't marry below your family. Don't marry. You're a princess. Don't go and marry a commoner. You're not fighting any jihad. Don't marry below your social status. Don't marry below your educational status. Don't marry outside your comfort zone. You are used to traveling abroad once in a year. You marry a miserable man that has never entered plane. And the moment you saw in summertime to travel, you say, this is not your father's house. This is my house. Before you marry, let them understand. So based on this, it guided me when I was going into this, my loving marriage. My husband and I sat down and we agreed how many children, how are we going to raise the children? I was raised in a family where by the age of 10, you must have finished the Holy Quran. If you don't finish the Holy Quran, you cannot go to secondary school and you must go to a boarding secondary school. So I made it clear to my husband that my kids must finish the Holy Quran by the age of 10. If not, if they need to sit at home for 1 year after school, they need to sit at home. I needed him to understand that it is important for me. And I allowed him to know that this thing is important because my late father believed that whatever you teach a child from the age of 0 to the age of 10, it forms who they are as an adult. So for me, equipping you with the Holy Quran and the meaning to go into the life, into secondary school, and preparing you for life, because death can come anytime. So my husband and I agreed on that. We agreed that our girls, these are the places they can spend holiday, the family members they can spend holiday with. Those are the things we put into perspective. We also agreed that I was going to run my career, maintain my career, and whatever I earn was going to be my money. I was not under any pressure. Rather, I was the one that came and said, oh boy, this money plenty. Oh, can I help you shoulder this responsibility? And once in a while, I'll come and say, you know what? I'm a banker, but my husband is a better financial manager than me. So I'll say, you know what? I just got this 1 million naira. And I think, Auntie Nia and I want to go to Kicks, want to buy clothes, I want to buy bag. Then I think I want to just spend 100,000. And my husband say, hey, come bring that money. We are going to buy that land. So you need to sit
Yeah.
with your intended partner, agree on your finances, agree on your children, agree on the way of life. And one other thing we put into consideration when we're getting married, because my office has always been on the island and my husband's office was also on the island, we agreed that we're going to leave within 10 minutes to our workplace and within 10 minutes to the children's school. That means that we're going to give up family holiday every year so that we could afford the rent of the places we wanted to live. So we go on family holiday once in 2 years. And we don't go during summer when tickets are high. We go in December when people don't want to travel and it's cold. We agreed that when our last child goes into the boarding house, we will now move into our own property quietly off from where we stay. By then, we agree both of us will have been 50. And trust me, it's working because we had this conversation before marriage. Now, what I have seen is a lot of young
Before,
people
fantastic.
don't have this conversation before marriage. I'll give you an example of a couple that I recently counseled. The first day the woman took the man to the house, when the lady went into the kitchen to get drinks for the man, the intended bride's father asked the intended groom, do you know my daughter gets angry at the drop of a hat? Do you think you can manage that woman? And the man still went ahead and married the woman. And 10 years down the line, the anger has ruined them physically, emotionally, and they are patching things up now. If that man had listened to the father-in-law and they had sought counseling that, okay, I know you have anger problem. What causes you to get angry? Because there might be something that lady has suffered in the past when she was young that gets her angry. If the man had taken to counsel and said, let's agree, what flips you off? Is it when I say hello? Is it when I wake up in the morning and my mouth is smelling? Is it when I put a wet towel on the bed? Or is it when I press the toothpaste from the middle? If they had agreed, they wouldn't have had it. And I'll come again from my own experience. And my husband and I sat down and say, you know what? Well, what is our boundary? At what point can our marriage break? Let's take that dream. And we agreed,
Okay, so Rally, hold it. Hold it. You are going deep.
Okay.
We are going to get there because we're going to talk about, boundaries. I have, so many, things written down. We're going to take them one by one because we have so many young single men and women joining us this evening. And then a lot of married people also that with the benefit of hindsight, can see the mistakes that they made and also want to be able to remedy them. And the conversation around how truly people that are already in marriage can also help young people going into marriage, so that they don't make the mistakes. At least do your part, even if they don't listen. And so I love the fact that you shared your personal experience. But let's take it one step after the other so they can Shamsuddin, Raliat has touched on a lot of key issues, and I want you to come in from your own perspective again as a qualified marriage therapist. What the things that you've seen, and start up again from that point to say, how would you define premarital counseling, and why is it so difficult? For people not to do. Yes, like Rani had said, within the Ummah, it's not common. Aside from you just having your wali, being there, somebody, like she said, it's in Islam. It is said that, or in the Islamic version, you are not supposed to meet each other, but when you meet, there should be somebody there. In the Christian faith, we normally have, premarital counseling. Most churches put up premarital counseling, but they use this manual. It's very surface-like, doesn't dig into the issues, the deep questions that need to be asked are not asked. What is premarital counseling? Why why do people run away from it? And what have you seen in the few years that you have worked in the space?
Um, I when I begin to flow, sometimes I get lost. So the first thing I want to do is check
Oh,
that my
that's
audio
fine.
is proper, everything is good. Aha.
Excellent.
Thank you very much again for having me. It's a very, very deep conversation and one that you find many people get into, and they're absolutely like have no idea. I don't want to use the word clueless, but a lot of times you
Mm,
find people talk about things and you just wonder what they're going on about. I was at the
mm,
conference, and a certain a certain lady was asked what she liked about the man she intended to get married to, and she said
mm.
she liked the bed. And it was it was tragic comedy, pretty much. It was funny, but it really was tragic to think that somebody's looking at marriage from the perspective of, okay, what do you like about this person, and you're talking about just beards that can be so okay, so what happens if the person has to shave the beards off?
Oh,
Does that mean the
yeah.
marriage is off or something? But it
Mm,
is not something that just begun now. So when you look at it from generations prior to the one that we currently have, it's been the same. And I would say that yes, there's gradual. We're finding a shift now, but it's still a far cry for what needs to be in place. For me, experience is something that we've not really shared, and a lot of
mm,
times when I speak to even married people, they're like, "Ask, you guys are going through." So from time to time, I get invited to facilitate programs on female only groups and mixed groups and stuff, and I ask questions like, "Okay, I understand that these problems exist now, but did nobody tell you guys about it?" And then you have a division there.
mm,
The people in the problem, with the challenges at that point, would say, "No, nobody told us." And then the married people, not having those issues at that
mm.
time, would say, if you tell them, they won't believe you, they won't listen, they'll say
They
you're
won't
you're acting
listen.
up and all of that.
Mhm.
I mean, it's that division will be there. And believe me, this thing we're talking about, we're talking premarital counseling, marriage counseling, whatever. Please note, we're talking about women. All of this
Mm.
discussion is about women. Men are not even in this discussion. We're not there.
They are not
This one is
interested.
okay. Some people have
Mm,
one on the surface or the this is women. Men are not even there. What men? Men that have
mm.
not even been taught how to
Game.
treat women, what to do. What you go out there, they will release you into the fields. Go and learn on your own. When you get into the game, you discover how it is. So how is it that somebody who's not even been trained to take up the basic things, know things you would call basic survival skills? What is the person's business with what premarital? You want me to go sit with somebody to be telling me what? Nobody feels like they need it. So it's basic. If you ask me what premarital counseling is, I think it is the acquisition of knowledge to find out about the journey you are about to engage in. It's pretty straightforward. Not like you're going to know everything that's happening in marriage. No, you want to know about it enough for you to make that initial decision. And that's where
Mm.
Auntie Riley spoke about this happens a lot in Islam, and people. I mean, you have that. It comes a lot. People will tell you, "Oh, courtship is not allowed, and this one is not allowed, and all of that." People come and they're telling you, "Oh, we want that's current day." They tell you we want premarital counseling. 3 days to. Then you ask when is the wedding? They say on Saturday, and they're coming on Wednesday. What do you want to
Voila.
learn? It's Wednesday. Okay, so are you telling me that you came on Wednesday, and I checked through and I see that fundamental things are out of place? Are they going to
Mm,
scatter the wedding? It's 3 days, and that aligns with what you said earlier on, that sometimes people will leave and go elsewhere. So whether it's
mm,
3 months or 3 days or thereabout, premarital counseling is something that ought to have happened before the suitor comes along, because part of what you
mm,
should be taught engaging in it's how to select. What are the red flags to look out for? The people coming to you, where do you go to meet people? How do you
mm,
present yourself? What are the things to
mm,
run away from? So you've gone, you've met the person, You guys have picked the date. Everything is signed, sealed, just to be delivered. And then you come from premarital counseling at that point, which is, I say, a lot of people don't come for premarital counseling. A lot of people come for marriage counseling pretty much. Because at that point, it's like, look, we're not going to scatter this thing. We're here is sealed. It's just for it to be delivered in 3 days' time. So it really doesn't tally with what we have. That's one major issue. Another one, when you look at it, is the fact that so for myself, this is a profession for me. So if you're going to have premarital counseling, it is paid. Now, is it the person that is even struggling to understand what it is you're telling him or her that's then going to look and say, oh, this is what this setting costs? And as such, it becomes easier to just go with one uncle said and one auntie said and something 5 minutes, 10 minutes, let's just do and go away with it. Alternative being when you go to places of faith. Now, unfortunately, what's obtainable in places of faith, it doesn't cut it. Yes, it's better than not have. It's way better than not having anything. However, it feels like you need to be able to acquire. You need to have something to give it, and a lot of people don't. Things are not even touched on. So when you talk about, so for instance, if you're having a premarital counseling program, we'll be talking emotional intelligence, effective mutual communication, family finance, and all of those things, conflict resolution, and all. And we're looking at what's your own temperament, what's the other person's temperament, and all of these things. And people don't understand. And you say, oh, look, oh God, just move on quickly. Let's get into it and be done. So that's where we are. However, moving forward, I think raising awareness about this sort of things, it's getting better. It's getting to the point now where I have men reach out to me. Yes, I understand that it still needs to get better, but premarital counseling pretty much is something that should even begin with parents from home. From the point where a child is attaining, puberty, pretty much.
The age of marriage.
It's not, and we're not talking. No, I am even talking puberty now. So we're not, because premarital counseling begins with basic things like when you talk sex education. These are some of the things that they need to learn about. What are the things? But again, one question I asked, I said, so there were ladies and then there were men. And then I asked the women, I said, how many of you were taught, women, or how many of you are taught how to cook? And everybody raised their hands like, come on. And then we said, how to clear the house. Everybody raised their hands. How many of you were told that if you're a woman now, if a man should touch you, you get pregnant? Everybody raised their hands, right? All of these things happened. And then I looked at the men. I said, how many of you were taught? Oh, so the women also. How many of you were taught basic things like your monthly cycle and all? Everybody said they were taught. And I looked at the guys. I said, how many of you were taught about erection, ejaculation, sex? Nobody raised their hands. How many of you were taught basic survival instinct, basic survival activities like cleaning up after yourselves and all? Well, maybe a few, one or two. How many of you were taught about marriage? How many of you were specifically called to be told about how to treat a woman? Nobody. These are things that nobody talks to the man about. So already we're setting them up on a journey
for failure
that's going to conflict. So everybody's focusing on the woman. The woman, lend this. And then you come to the man and the man doesn't have anything. So for them to even agree at that point, the sort of conflicts that people go through even before they get into marriage, you wonder, oh, wow, you guys are already, what is it from family? What family is going to say? Your people are asking my people for so amount of money, bride price, and all, and they're already fighting, scatter. This they said this is the clothes. They said this is not the clothes. Just to get to that point of the wedding is already an issue, is a drag, and you wonder, this is supposed to be the part we call the giz part, the buzzing part, the exciting part. And you guys are fighting this much. I know someone who called me. He called me around 11 p.m. He was screaming, said, "Yo, shame on me, shame on. I'm not marrying again." Like, he was pissed off. Like, so, families will come with their own and then come with different rules. I know he just got tired. And you're going, Look at what's happening to you guys. You've not even been married. What happens when you go into the marriage proper? So premarital counseling is massive. However, these are the issues that you find with it. Because people go to places of faith. Yes, places of faith. Then we'll talk about their own as well. For some people, I mean, in Christianity, it's a lot better. What we have happening is a lot better because you have, in some cases, maybe a week. Some places a month. Some places 3 months. I think I've heard someone talk about 6 months, and that feels like, okay, you have time, even though it's not starting when it should have started, because the full discourse should be before you even select the person. Because part of what, I mean, you should learn how to select the person, right? What are the things you should look out for instead of getting in and patching. But in Islam and with Muslims as we have it, it almost never happens. It almost never happens. And for the times when you have it happening, somebody's coming to tell you, right? I mean, yes, polygyny is a massive issue. It's a massive, massive issue. Every time I address polygyny, they would drag me left, right, center. Are you going to marry another wife? You're not going to marry another wife, and you have to explain. But even the issue of polygyny is something that, if well explained, it won't even lead to that. It won't even lead that way. People don't even understand anything about it. But how sensitive is it that somebody who was not put through the proper orientation, then the person is getting married, and the only form of counseling you can tell the person is, look, your husband can marry another wife. That approach is wrong. That approach is set up for conflict. Like the lady will be looking at you like, Abiwere Lily, you all this while you didn't come out to tell him how to take care of me. You're affirming to him on my own wedding day that he's going to do this and do that. Another issue is misunderstood religion, right? Now, I try to avoid going too deep, and anybody that knows me knows that it'll take a lot for me to get into proper. I mean, we're quoting, we're doing this, and I think that's how it should be. We should leave certain things to certain people to discuss. Yes, of course, there are going to be meeting points, but for us, we have a peculiar issue, and this is the issue. When I look at myself, who am I? Am I Shamsuddin Muslim? Am I Shamsuddin Hausa, Igbo, Yoruba? Am I Shamsuddin Nigerian? So whereas you have people who it's easy for them to pick their identity, we have three things to deal with. You have yourself to deal with. You have your tribe, culture slash tribe to deal with. Then you have your religion to deal with. And we carry religion for head past the people say we bring them, right? So, I mean, we have all of these things to mix. So at some point, and opinions from these different angles, they don't always align. So which of them am I going with? Which of them are you counseling me based upon? Again, another massive issue. So it's just there, but we've only got to begin from one place and move and move. It's getting better. I mean, if we're going, if best case scenario is 100, I would say we're on maybe 8 or 9 now, right? But 8 or 9 will look very bad until you realize that maybe a few years ago, we were on 2, 1 or 2 or point something. So it did not even exist, right? Well, so, or maybe we're even on the minor scale at that point. That's how terrible it was. Misconceptions being pushed to people all over. People don't even know. Now the ladies were talking. I mean, go to universities and see the things happening. All in the name of what? Okay, you don't want to commit. I'm trying to pick which of them.
You don't commit fornication.
So at that point, you're not married. So I think it's
fornication.
Wait, which of it?
Fornication.
Fornication.
One of it is adultery. One of it is fornication. Depending on who you are, right?
Married,
so if you already have one wife, or if you're not, now you. Am I back on?
Yes, you're back on.
You are.
Yeah, going off. Oh. We can't see your
We
I'm
voice.
can't
good.
hear you. I will see your voice.
Can you hear me now?
We can see your
Now,
voice
yes,
now.
yes.
Now you can see my voice. All right. So you go to universities and you find ladies. I'm talking 100 level, 200 level, and a lot of people that should be reading their books, people that should be getting. I mean, education as it is today is part of your preparation towards marriage and towards life. Now you should be doing that, but because nobody's told you, and then somebody, some dude, who is also being given pocket money by his own parents, he lives there, comes to you, tells you marriage is better than zina, right?
Zena.
Marriage is better than having sex or having all of those
Sex.
things.
Yeah.
And then let's get married. But get married with what? You don't have anything. You don't have a source of income. You don't have anything. So again, see that point where we were talking about what age. As it stands now, a lot of us run away from the talk. I'm here
Mm.
now wondering. I said I was going to post this thing like, hi, this thing is easier when you post it, when you type it and say have the sex education. That gist is pending with my daughter now. I've been sweating like, hey, so I'll call this girl now. We'll be talking about men.
Mm.
This one that should be talking about maths and English and all. I have to. I have to, and that's the
Mm.
situation now because the moment they get out of secondary school, if we're going to be honest, a lot of us did stuff in secondary school. What are we saying? JSS
Absolutely.
one,
And
form
a lot
two,
of things, a
plenty
lot of a lot of things are happening in secondary schools now.
currently. So if we back then did, I
Can you
cannot
imagine?
even imagine what it's like now. It's
Yeah.
definitely worse. Okay,
Mm. Mm.
for the sake of, I wrote my first love letter in primary 6. Primary 6, me.
Imagine.
Ah, so what are we saying? Me,
We
I
have
know what I
plenty.
did. And I did not write it to man. I wrote it to another girl somewhere, and I continued to write. At some point, I used to get paid to write love letters. So I'm not going to start telling myself maybe one girl is well, one daughter is young or not. These things need to come early, but it's not happening. A lot of people will look at it. They wait until was it yesterday? They were talking about virginity and how virginity should not be the basis by which you check for who a good woman is or not. You should
Is
be
or
able
is,
to have
yeah,
something that goes deeper
yeah.
than that. And this conversation came up where people were talking about, oh, for a woman is chest, virginity proves that a woman is chest, and you go, what are you saying? Do you know what happened in secondary schools? In my
Yeah.
mind, I can, you know, you're remembering the boarding house. Like
Yeah.
you know what happened, and you know penetration did not happen. How are we still here talking about those things? Now, they're too young, they're too young, they're too young. Nobody's had this conversation with them. Nobody's talking about premarital counseling with them, which should begin with the parents.
Mm.
Hopefully now, parents will not be negative and parents will be present, but it should ideally begin with parents. But what do
Okay, so
you
let me
want
let
to
me
say
let me
as a
come
parent
in.
when you're
Let
doing
me
it
come
bad
in
already?
there. Let me come in there. Recently, a couple of days ago, we have in the news about a young pastor who has a teenage ministry, and then it's just been found out. So the idea behind the ministry is that this girl is is about chastity. They have all the chastity belts and those things, to make sure, teaching them the need to keep themselves and all of that. And then it comes out now that this is the same person that has been molesting the young girls and things like that. So the truth of the matter is that whether we like it or not, the age where we need to begin to talk about sex education with our children has gotten lower and lower and lower. I find it difficult when parents say to me that they are waiting for when their children are going into secondary school to have that conversation. I have a 4-year-old in my house, and I started that conversation from the age of 2. even she may not understand, but teaching her the basics and, calling the name of these things, the body parts as they should be. And then, so start that conversation at 2. By the time she was 3, we tell her,
Limits.
who limits, boundaries and things like that. By the time she's 4, the way she will pinch your hand or hold your hand, even me as a mother, she's beginning to, she's understood her boundaries. She knows that this part of her body is hers, and she has a right to it, basic things. And then, so these things are important. I really agree with you that these conversations need to start from that beginning, because whether you like it or not, as somebody said, education is also part of preparing for life. And not just preparing for marriage, but preparing for life. Because when we don't prepare these young girls and boys, because like you said, more often than not, we talk about young girls, and the preparation for marriage and the premarital counseling is focused at young girls. And that's why we have so many young boys that are so irresponsible, even from secondary school. So when we talk about virginity and being chaste, who is sleeping with the young boys, with the young girls? Who is
Yes.
it? Who is
I want to
sleeping? Is
raise.
it not the boys?
Let me cut you there.
Nobody.
Permit me to cut you there.
But
I like
I
that
remember
question.
when you raised it. You raised it on your page,
Actually,
and I asked
I
the
need to cut you
question.
there. I need to cut you there. I really have to. Who is sleeping with these
The
girls,
girl.
right?
Yeah.
And the answer goes that perhaps the boys, right?
It's not. Is it perhaps girls are sleeping with girls, boys are sleeping with the girls?
No, not necessarily the boys. Not
That's what
necessarily
I'm
the
I'm
saying.
about
boys.
to take
That's what
you
I'm saying. The
different
girls
route.
are sleeping. The
Not
girls are sleeping
necessarily the
with the
boys.
girls. That's what I'm saying. Girls
Not
are now
No,
necessarily the
sleeping with
boys.
girls, boys are sleeping
not
with boys.
Not
necessarily the
necessarily the
boys.
boys.
Not necessarily the
Not
Okay.
boys.
necessarily the
Their
boys.
mothers are sleeping with them. Their uncles are sleeping with them. Their
People
sisters
now.
are sleeping with them.
People are patronizing all these places, so they are buying different sizes of you know what, and different colors and everything. I'm telling you, sex toys,
My
the sale
goodness.
and popularity of sex toys nowadays. And
It's unlimited.
you've got different sexuality now. People seem to be woke, as it is said now. A lot of people are exploring different things. So I mean, back in
Yeah.
the days, they probably would have said boys, but now it's changing. But that's not even where I'm going.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Who taught the
Yeah.
boys that? Who taught the boys that?
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
tell you this. You ask the average take between 30 to 50. The average might be between 30 to 50. If they're going to be honest with you,
Yeah.
ask them who they first had sex with. Then you begin to
Yeah.
hear aunties,
Household. Yeah.
neighbors,
Yeah.
cousins, teachers.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
I am so okay. You can hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
we can
Yes,
hear
we
you.
can.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Keep
So
on.
when
We
you
can
We
hear
ask
can
you.
hear you.
who
Can hear
did
you.
they first have sex with, aunties and cousins and neighbors and mates, teachers, different people. So it's easy to look for us to look at the girls and be like, okay, these boys now have the experience and they're sleeping with the girls. But who taught the boys to go look for it? It comes back to older girls. So there's a
Hmm.
cycle, but because
Yeah.
we're raised to not talk. You're a weakling if you talk,
Yeah,
so keep quiet, don't say anything.
yeah,
Nobody really hears this, nobody really hears these stories.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I agree with
uh,
you. I agree with you that, whether you like it or not,
am
people
I
are
on?
not. Yes,
Ah,
you are. Yes, you
okay.
are. I can hear
Okay,
you.
sometimes it keeps going off like I'm off, so nobody hears the stories from the boys, and that's why. And funny enough, the aunties know themselves. Oh, they will grow up and then have
Mhm,
their own experiences with older men as well. But nobody
mhm,
ever comes back to talk about the younger boys who now go. I mean, it's just the cycle. So if for as long as we don't, for as long as we don't look at it round. Tiniola, Agbabi, like I said, a lot of irresponsible parenting, and it's as shocking as sad as it is. That's the situation. So I have my daughter who is 11, right? Um, has a private taekwondo instructor that comes over to the house and teach herself and her siblings and all of that. And at one point, we're talking about, okay, you can send files to her via WhatsApp, so that, I mean, she's got a blue belt. So, I mean, she is something she's really passionate about. Send files to her. I don't know, for some reasons. The mother, so my wife just picked up her tablet, and the messages that came, the voice notes, very ridiculous stuff. I took it up. I said, look, I am going to pull down. I don't care what it takes. If it means me going to Chikachukumerije or whoever it is that is sitting at the top of the Taekwondo Federation, I'm going to have you properly disciplined. Unfortunately, at the end of it, it became a case of everybody scared to engage. So it's difficult now to get a private tutor to come, because everybody's looking like, oh, I don't want, I'm afraid that something might happen and all of that. And this is what we have going on. But to think that, what if we were not there? Yes, it's not like one is smart enough and you know that, okay, I was there, I was smart and all. We were just privileged. But the efforts need to also come from parents, and this is not happening enough. Yes, we're looking for a lot of money. People don't have time, but this is what opens the children up to all of these things. You've got maids, older maids, who come into and they molest. Okay, we're talking kids with toys. The young boy out there, so a 10 upwards, sex feels to you like an adventure. So while for a girl is raised to see that anybody touching you is molesting you, a young boy at that age wants it. It's an adventure for him. He wants you to do it so that
I don't want us to so the truth of the matter is the conversation we are having is really the foundation, the really foundation. But I don't want us to focus on those issues today. I'm sure that we are going to come back on another day to talk about sex education with parents, particularly because it's a big issue, and that's the foundation when we talk about this whole issue around premarital counseling. But I want us to focus on, the conversation that we are having today, and that is really on the issue of premarital counseling. And I like the foundation that has been created initially. So let me go back to Raliat, and then I'll come back to you, Shamsuddin. Or maybe I should stay with Shamsuddin a bit more and say, why do you think that a lot of people, a lot of young people don't want to have premarital counseling? What are they running away from? What are they afraid of? Raliat said something about immediately you leave university, even before you leave university, your parents are already hounding you, especially for young women. When are they? When are you settling down? When are you marrying? When are you marrying? That is on the one hand. The young girls themselves also have inclinations about the kind of person that they want to marry, but they are not having the conversation that they should have. What are some of them? I just want you to highlight them so we also manage our time, because we have a lot of questions. What would you highlight to be the key issues that they are running away from not asking? We are still going to come to what are the questions they should be asking, but why are they not even having the question first? Why? What are they running away from? What is the problem?
Again, I'll break it along gender lines. So a reason that's applicable to young men is not necessarily the reason you find applicable to young women. Yeah, I think if I'm going to look, I don't think the young women are necessarily running away from it. I think it's a case of not knowing that it's that important. I think that's the issue with the young women. So awareness and all this needs to be more needs to be done in letting them know that this thing is important. This is the importance of it and all. For men, yes. If you ask me if men are running away, I'd say yes. I think that men tend to avoid it, and it's because see, first of all, the typical young man out there is not raised to focus on domestic issues. I'll sit down with you and be talking about issues of love, marriage, and all. Feels a bit too mushy. So getting him to come and sit down, listen to some counselor talk about something and drag on and on and on and on. You're going, oh my goodness, when is it going to end? That's one bit. Again, for the man, a lot of times when we talk about these things come from the faith-based positions. Now, I'm sitting there with an afa or a pastor, and one way or the other, this person is a secular person. The gist is getting boring. Like, oh, guy, you are just preaching and preaching. When will you be done? Let me go. Like, he really does not want to hear all of those things. Now, when you take it outside of that circle, you take it to perhaps, okay, you're going to somebody who does it professionally, then we're talking about cost again. Cost is involved. This is somebody who already does not really fancy what you're trying to tell him, and then you're talking about I didn't even want to come for free, and then you're saying costs involved. Man, I'm not interested at all. Now, another key thing on the flip side now is in methodology being used by counselors and therapists out there. I tell people, I said the initial thing is, the most important thing is the connection with the human. If you don't have a connection with the human, you cannot have a connection with the case. But connection with the human needs you to understand man. And a lot of people just don't get that part of it. And the moment they miss it, when I see you, and this same thing applies to maybe when you put a post out there or something, you have a very limited time to make that connection. If you don't connect with the person in that period of time, it's lost. Whatever you say after that period, they don't want to hear. Now, a guy comes in front of me, and that's why you see people go study along one particular aspect, and then they think that's all. You need to continue to learn, and things that don't feel relevant, add. You don't know where. See, people are talking about music, add it on, because you don't know. That might just be what connects you to somebody, not because you listen to music. Somebody comes on and you're talking about,
his
can you hear
connection
me?
is bad. Okay,
Am I
you're
back
back
on?
on now.
All right. So I was talking about the connection with the human now. A lot of people are unable to create this connection. So you go one directional learning, and you begin to reach out to people. But I say it doesn't matter. You need to. This is a field that needs you to continuously develop yourself. It doesn't matter what it is. It's going to come useful. Knowledge of music, knowledge of what you look at the people you're dealing with. It's not about what you are dealing with. You need to understand their world. If you don't understand their world, how do you want to go and speak to them in that world? You stand from a higher ground, talking from religiously virtuous places, and you're not going to connect. And once you lose
Okay, that's his connection again. I think you get the point of what he's trying to say. The fact that a lot of people, don't go for marriage counseling, and even when they do, the counselor doesn't connect with them. So he or she is speaking at par with what they want to hear. So that's
true.
the point that Mr. Giwa was trying to raise. That so the counselors are also an issue. So
Yeah.
for the men, like you said, sometimes it's a matter of what do they want to tell me that I don't know or something. But what about the young ladies? What about the young ladies? What are the young ladies afraid of? Why don't they ask the questions? Okay, someone said here that they are interested in asking, but there's also the fear of being tagged a nag or being seen as being difficult. You know what I mean? So, from your experience, what has been the issue?
It's so there are two things here. We're talking premarital counseling and then courtship. So when we're talking about them asking questions in premarital counseling, you're asking that person. People when I find couples or intended couples come, they ask questions. They are able to ask questions, but in the courtship, that's where we have the issue now. They don't ask the question in the courtship, and then it goes
Yeah.
back to communication. Do they even know what to check for? So courtship already happened before the counseling is coming. Hence the reason
Yeah.
the counseling should come first, so that you already know
Before
that
the
when you
courtship.
get
Yes.
into it should come
Yes.
before the courtship. So that when you go into the
Fantastic.
courtship,
So
you
I
know
want
that you
you,
should ask
I
this question.
I really want you to re-emphasize that, because I think that that's where the problem is. So you meet a
It,
guy, you start dating him. During the dating process, you are not having this conversation because as long as you're concerned, if he comes to you straight up and says, "Look, oh, I'm dating you for marriage," the young girl begins to see herself as a wife already. So she's
mm,
not even having that question. So those that finally come for the premarital counseling come after the courtship has started. The guy has agreed you have agreed you are going to marry him. He's agreed he's going to marry you, and then you want to start having the conversation. And that's where the problem really lies. Because at that point, they've introduced themselves to their families. Is it at that point when he says, "Oh, I don't like,
that you're going to break. I
I
mean,
don't like a bed. I don't like sleeping on a bed. I put my mattress on the floor." And you're like, at what point? Okay, what will I do? I have to manage. So I think that that's where the problem is. So
and
I'm going to
they get married, and they get married managing. They get married
they get
managing
married
already. So
managing, hoping, some of them go in saying, "Okay, he's sleeping on the
hoping they will
floor.
change.
Yes. So he's putting his
People
mattress
think
on the
things are
floor.
gonna change.
By the time I marry him and I take him to a nice furniture store and he sees a nice bed, he's going to change his mind from
Save your
putting his mattress on
mindset.
the floor
Save your
type of thing.
mentality.
And I
I'm going
think
to get
that
him. He doesn't pray. I will get him to pray. By the
so
time he
pray.
sees me, I marry him and all. And the guy on his look, the guy is thinking, look, if I don't pray now, I'm still not going to pray anytime. You're not going to force me to pray.
Exactly.
Like you're
Exactly.
not
And
going to
it
force
even
me
gets
to
worse.
pray. I don't pray. I
It
don't pray.
even
End of
gets worse
story.
in marriage. Okay, so Raliat, let me come back to you. What are some of from the experiences that you have seen? Because I know that you've also had to have this conversation from the experiences that you've seen, whether from the Ummah, whether from the friends that are not Muslims, the Christian friends, the young girls that come to you, and you see from sitting back and seeing the issues, what would you say the problem? Why didn't they ask the questions? Why didn't they have these conversations? Whether during the dating season, whether during the courtship, why do they accept all the nonsense during the courtship and expect, like Shamsuddin said, expect that he's going to change? Why what is the issue?
Okay. From what I've seen, I will tell you one thing that is wrong with our girls. And it's not only our girls, it dates back to our great grandmothers and our mothers. We're taught, like when I was going to school, we're taught women are to be seen, not heard. They feel that the men are doing them a favor, even toasting them, even asking to marry them. Most of the young girls think that that title, Mrs., is an additional cap. And I'll tell you something I tell them in the office. When they come, they say, "Oh, Mrs. Ralia Toyetunde, oh, Madam Ralia Toyetunde, oh, Haja Ralia Toyetunde." And I look at them and said, "No, my name is simply Raliat Oyetunde." And I remember the first time somebody told me, said, Raliat, you look like the president's wife. I said, why can't I be the president myself? Why must I be somebody's wife? So the women, our girls, we make them take back seats. And
Hey, this network,
we are the reason. We are the reason. And I'll tell you, I identified this very early. Because I
on.
remember
No.
part of
No, she hasn't gone off. She hasn't gone off. Yes.
Part of the challenge I saw when we're growing up, coming from a very strong Islamic background, from a polygamous background, from a royal background. At the age of 10, 11,
No,
my
we didn't
father...
hear you. You went...
Hello. Okay, can you hear me
Anthony,
now?
I think you went off.
So
okay, can you hear now, Anthony?
You need to recap.
Okay, let me come back again. I said the girls are afraid, and that is we, the parent, because it's a mistake our grandparents and our parents made. They did not teach us to own ourselves. Can you hear me? When we were growing up, I remember coming from a strong Muslim background, coming from a strong royal family and a polygamous home. My father, at the age of 11, when we were going to school, my father told me that, Raliatu, you cannot bring a Christian to my house. So when I got to the university, I couldn't date a Christian. Then, you know, when they say jambite, when guys come to toast me, my name is Raliat. When you come to toast me, and you say, my name is Antonia, I say, my name is Raliat too. You know, because I know that the word Raliat puts you off. That is one. Two, my father identifies certain families that because you are royalty, if you must marry from our tribe, you can't marry these families because they are known as slaves. Now, my father has put that in my head. So I am going out there and I watch the people I date. At the age of 6, when my first daughter got into school and she took second, I asked her, I said, Iman, why are you taking second in a class? He said, the boy took first. I said, does he have 2 heads? He said, no, mommy, he's a boy. That's the last time Iman took second. The beating and the studying, that he's a boy doesn't make him any better than you. So the parents have made the girls look as if they are inferior to the male sex. So when a man comes to ask for your hand, he's doing me a favor now. I'm going to bear his name. And I tell people there is nothing as sweet as Islam. I bore Raliat Ibrahim for a very long time. The Islam does not say, leave your father's name and bear your husband's name. So the young ladies there are anxious to be called, I am Mrs. Oyetunde, I am Mrs. Abimbola. No, I stand proudly and I tell people, I am Raliat Ibrahim Oyetunde. I am late Dr. His Royal Highness Bello Ibrahim's daughter. That is my father. So most women, most of the young girls, they are desperate. So when they see the man, they don't want to ask the question. Then when they see the man, they think they think money, they think presents will make the man look. A man that is mean will remain mean even after marriage. So when they are reciting your title, Raliat is a banker. You are Raliat first and foremost. You are a banker first and foremost before you are Mrs. Oyetunde. The title is there. Let's leave the title. Don't let the title form whom you are. So that's how you see me when I come to people. You say, what's your name? I say, my name is Raliat Oyetunde. So it's time that we, the parents, the challenge is with us now, especially those of us that have girls. You need to let the girls know that they are equal to the men, and that the man is not doing.
I think the issue is to let
you are going to break everything without one of them. People will drag you left, right, center.
I remember growing up, we had duty day. We had duty day.
The way it is.
Today that it is a Monday that Rally is cooking and washing plates. On Tuesday, Abdulaziz, my younger brother, is washing plates, is pounding yam. So my brothers cook as well. Shamsuddin, are you there? Shamsuddin has gone off.
He's gone off. He will come back on.
Okay, so my brothers,
go ahead.
Okay, my brothers cook as well as we do the girls. Likewise, my husband cook as well as I cook. That is because his mother taught him that they don't use the pennies to wash plates. So when it's time to wash plates, you use hand to wash plates. So what a girl can do, a boy can do. So it's better the parents of today. You are going to teach both girl and boy that you complete each other. So I am coming to marry. You are coming to marry me. Me, Raliat. I am bringing I'm bringing myself, my royalty. I'm coming to compliment you, and you are coming to marry me. You are an engineer. I'm coming to compliment, so that when we stand side by side, we can take the world on. We can bring up offsprings that are very good. So the parent of today need to go back to the drawing board. Let your kids. I have a daughter that plays football. Those days you won't have a girl that plays football. My daughter plays football. But again, because of age and abuse, anytime they ask her to come for an international competition, I say, no, she cannot come unless that competition is willing to pay for me to be her chaperone, because I cannot expose her to that. So when she goes for training, there is her nanny that stays with her for training. My daughter is a goalkeeper. And we always make fun of her. The best thing you can do for my daughter is to give her a football. She's not your normal girl, but we've seen that that's her passion, and we are guiding her towards that. So I beg parents of these days, please treat both girls and boys equally. Every chance you have to talk to your sons, your nephews, your son, your friend's son, let them know that we are equal. Let's raise these children equal, and let the girls come out with confidence that they can dream to be the president of America, not Nigeria, the president of America.
Thank you so much. Honestly, I think that the basic thing is really that the socialization, the cultural socialization of our girls and our boys is really the problem. So marriage is seen as a price. The guy is doing you a favor, marrying you, and you're very right, because when we were growing up, that was the mindset that was had, and of course we've had to change that over and over again. And that's why you find out that sometimes some people that married very early, very young in our age grade, have always had, because it's the same problem that our mothers had, having to be subservient because they feel that, look, I married you out of your father's house. I had a man that said, I did you a favor. I married you out of your father's house. Has anybody in your family entered the aeroplane before? I took you to enter aeroplane. And then so that mentality carries on at younger women, even when they do it, that the parents keep pushing. When are you bringing a man? So unfortunately, you don't prepare them to ask those questions. Shamsuddin posted something on his page a few weeks ago, and the storyline was, oh, you told me you worked in a bank, but you did not tell me you were a cleaner in the bank. And the guy goes, and the guy goes, and the guy goes, yes, you did not ask. I told you I worked in a bank. You did not ask me as what? So this is the heart of the matter. And that's what I'm saying that. So now let's get into, and I want us to really, because we've really taken about time, but let's get into the heart of the matter. Some of the questions here, as far as I'm concerned, are really, putting it at the heart of that. And so how do you begin to, so some of the questions here, someone said, how do you establish that communication with your partner to the point where they get to understand that they need to go for premarital counseling? Now, someone had asked the question around, are you saying that premarital counseling should happen? Let me read that question because I saw it. Since
I think I saw the question as well.
I want us to really deal with
are you saying it should come before?
Exactly. The heart. Yes, it should come before the dating part. Okay, are you saying, this is the question? So Mr. Giwa, are you saying go for counseling before courtship and dating? I want to be clear on this. I think that needs to be clearly. Yes, it needs to be clearly defined.
Let me just go straight to that so that we answer that question and it moves away, because I'm seeing notification and I'm seeing so many coming in. Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Premarital counseling should happen before you begin to court, because the tools that you need to make that decision on whether to court or not. See, I'm going with the keyword court. I did not use date. I said court. Again, that's one key thing, because if the intention is marriage, you're not going to date. You are going to court. But because the person probably didn't even know this up front.
Shamsuddin, please wait. Because you see, I have always had to repeat myself, particularly on this matter, when I explain dating and courting. So I need you to explain what is dating and at what time does it move to courting. Please explain it. So that's
there's only one thing that separates them.
Yes.
There's one thing that separates them.
The moment he says to you, I want to marry you, and you agree, you have gone into courting. If you are boyfriend and girlfriend, you are not
courting. you are dating. and I think that's where a lot of times when
Shamsuddin, in answering that question, please,
Yes.
can you elaborate for people to understand that you can have premarital counseling individually? You don't have to be in a relationship. They need to understand that point.
True. So first is to the question from Yusuf. Yes, absolutely. You should have premarital counseling before courtship or dating, because whatever it is you have at that point will help you decide on whether it is courting you're going into or whether it is dating. Now, a lot of people don't even know the difference. It's why when you hear people who talk about, oh, courtship is not allowed in Islam, it's because they don't even understand what courtship is. They don't even understand that, the provisions given. I can come to you. Interaction is absolutely permissible. I can come to you, seek necessary permission, sit with you, learn, talk to you, hear about your ideas, know whether your mentality tallies with mine, know whether your reality tallies with mine, know whether the directions you intend. Key thing, what does marriage mean to the person? That's absolutely important. What does marriage mean to the person? For some, marriage means a woman that will cook my food, take care of the children, sit at home and not do anything. Now, like we said, if these conversations are not even being had, how do you even make a decision on it? Now, it's even if you're having it before courtship, that means under that situation, what you're having at that point should be you alone, because courtship has not even happened at that point. The guy has not even come, or you have not even gone to meet any woman. You've not gone to approach anybody. And while we're on it, there's nothing saying that the woman cannot be the one to talk to the guy anyway. But this is Nigeria. That is complex. In any case, at that point, the courtship has not even happened. So you're not most likely, you're 100% still single. So you should go for it alone. And at that point, the person you're seeking it with is able to focus on you and help you with your own goals. Not like the person is trying to seek a balance at that point. No, there is no balance to be made there. You will be taught how to do things for you. Take decisions that are best for you. That one sorted. So I think that clears out. I think that pretty much answers that question.
Okay. Antine is off, so we need to take the questions for her.
Yeah, I'm on now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we started that question.
Yes. So I think right now we should enter into the heart of it. We'll take the other questions, but we'll start with the heart of it now. And begin to talk. So what are the basic questions you should ask during courtship, or what are those questions that you should begin to ask that will not propel the need for the premarital counseling? So we've understood when you should have the premarital counseling, and but now we want to say, what are some of those questions that we need to know around sex? So I want you. So Raliat, I'll start with you. You started with it when you first started talking. So I need you to be able to take some of those questions again, to answer that again. So some areas that you think you should ask questions around. What are some of those key areas you should ask questions around?
Okay, thank you. Princess Balkis, yes, this is your question. What are the basic questions you should ask? First, what does marriage mean to you? Because at this point, you've decided to get married. What does marriage mean to you? What's your perception about marriage? That is, after you've exchanged, what kind of marriage did your parents have? What kind of background did you grow up in? Because our background affects our marital life. Inadvertently, you wouldn't know. You carry on luggage that you don't know. And I like using myself as an example because I'm the easy guinea pig. I grew up with a mother who believes that when we cook food, there must always be 2 wraps of amala or pounded yam left in the cooler, because you never know which visitor will come. And if no visitor comes and it's time to prepare the evening meal, there'll be one mad person or one stray person going that my mom will give the food to. I carried that to my today life without knowing it, that we always cook excess because I always anticipate somebody will pass by. That is how our upbringing affects our brain, our family life. How do you view marriage? What is your temperament? What gets you angry? How do you manage your me alone time? There are some women there are some women that can't take a man with them 247, 365 days a year. Some people just want a man with them 3 days in a week, 4 days in a week. Such women are very good for polygyny because they know themselves. So that is all you people need to discuss. There are some men that they are like men and women that are like the snail. When the snail move, the shell follow. Then there are some people that can't afford to share bed with people. You need to discuss, okay, do you like me cuddling you to sleep, or do you like to just sleep on your own? Do you sleep on your tummy? Do you even want your privacy? Do you want us to have separate bedroom? These are issues you should talk about. You also talk about the elephant in the room that people don't like talking about for me is money and sex. You are earning 100,000 naira.
Sex and
You need to
money, please.
sex and
Sex
money.
and money. Joint account. Do you like to have
Sex
joint
and money.
account?
Do you want to
How
have
do
joint
you
account?
spend?
How do you
Are
spend? Do
you
you see this and
eccentric?
buy? Are you an impulsive buyer? Do you collect your money and stock the house for food first? Then will your husband say, oh, I've given you 20,000 naira for the month. Please, that food is for me, you, and our children. Don't feed the driver. Don't feed any neighbor. When family complete, give them only one meal. Are you the type that keeps the bag of rice in your room and the fried meat in your room? You need to understand. There are some men, I have friends that it's their husband that goes to the markets. They don't give their wife the market money. They say, do me list of what you want. The man goes. And they've been married for 21 years. And that's how their life has been. So I always laugh at them. I always laugh. I say, Uncle so and so at the or still laugh at still he will happily go to market and do it. It has worked for them. Now, the other one is, how do you pay? How many kids do you want to have? And what kind of school do you want them to go to? I had a conversation with my husband this evening about a friend that is bringing the child to Pan Atlantic University. And I said, realities have hit hard. People are now cutting their coat according to their clothes. That before they would say, I'm going to America, I'm going to Dubai. Now they are bringing their kids to Pan Atlantic University because the reality is that's what they can afford now. So you and your spouse need to sit down. We're going to give up all our luxuries so that we can send the kids to premium or elite school. Is the conversation that you should have. Then the other one is sex. What does sex mean to you? Are you the type that want to have sex with fully clothed? Are you shy of your body? Are you in control of your body? Do you want to be able to read?
Or once a week, or
Do you want to have it every day?
Monday,
Do you want
Wednesday, Friday?
to
Do you like it as breakfast, lunch, or dinner?
Do you want the man to always? Do you want to be very comfortable in your body? Do you want to strut around? Do you want to prepare yourself for this sex? Are you ashamed, or does your partner have mouth odor that you feel that, oh, I need to get him a tongue scraper? You need, when you are cutting, you will know this odor. How does your partner react to perfumes and oils? There are some men that say, hey, don't wear perfume when you are going out though. I have a friend that the husband does not allow her to wear jigida and wear anklet. He says it's ashewos that wear them. And I said, show the man what to do with them. I said, Auntie Rani, my husband says Ashewo that wear them. And I said, really? Meanwhile, I have some friends that if their husband does not see the jigida on their waist, the husband be like, or when the anklet, this anklet will be fine on you. So you see, if you ask these questions, you will know if you are compatible or not. And it is very important. I know I keep telling you, most women just have sex for the benefit of having sex from the moment they start having sex and having kids until they are 35, 40. Before a woman can boldly stand and be comfortable in her skin, at that point, she has seen it all. But most sisters that I have come in contact with, both Muslims and non-Muslims, they still have this reservation about their body. And because the men think that they are better off, they say, when I married you, you were slim. Now everything is sagging. You, the man, when I married you too, you had 6 packs. Now there is pot belly. So like I tell the sisters, not the kind of man when he chose you.
For mine before.
He could do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Now he's
Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, Friday. You don't want to do. Do you want to do straight? You know, you need help sometimes. You need to watch a movie to set you in the mood, or do you want the woman to do this? I have a lady that came to me and said, Auntie Ralia, I work hard, but I close every day at 5 p.m. My husband, the day he comes home and hold a bag of meat pie, I know that he wants sex. Because when the man comes home, he holds a bag of snacks. And when he brings the snack, he said, Yawo, don't cook. Let's have these snacks. So when they finish the snack, go to the slaughter room. So she has enjoyed this.
Deliver. Okay, no problem.
That one is good now. He doesn't want her to stress in the kitchen.
You ate the meat pie now. So what? You ate the meat pie. Why did you refuse the meat pie?
What are you talking about?
I said, you tell the man that meat pie is not good enough. You need to cut me. You need to light candles. You need to let diffusers be in the room. You need to prepare the room, and so on. I had to tell her after 15 years. I said, have a conversation. She had never had a conversation with her husband. So I said, have a conversation with a man. Sometimes the men or our partners don't know what we want. I tell women,
men
I said,
usually don't know. They don't know what you want.
Women,
do you like
women?
I think that this panel is rigged. There's a juror in this thing.
We've highlighted very key issues. I think that the two key areas that you highlighted, and those were the first two areas that I wrote down here in terms of the issues, the areas you need to ask questions. Finances and sex. When you started earlier, you started talking about the basics. That is the standard basics, which is the kind of family you come from, what is your background, where did you go to school, the kind of friends this person has, the groups of friends he has, and things like that. And then you narrowed it down to sex and finances. How much do you earn? I saw something on Twitter yesterday. A girl posted something that she has been dating this guy for about 6 months, and they went out with his friends, and they were talking about, what would you like to do this December during the holidays? And she was there with her boyfriend and his friends and their girlfriends. And she said, that this December, there's one place in Lagos that she would like to go, that she's heard so much about it. It's a nice restaurant. I think it's called Shiro Lagos. She would like to go there. And then her boyfriend laughs in front of over 10 people and says, is it with your 35K salary that you are going to go there? And that she felt so embarrassed, and she ended the relationship after they left that place. And so she was asking for advice. Did she do the wrong thing? I said, in my mind, I said, if I was your mother and you didn't end that relationship, I would slap you blue black. Because already that is an indication of the kind of person. He will embarrass you in public. He has no emotional intelligence. So, Mr. Giwa, what are some of the areas? So Raleigh has talked about some key areas. From your perspective, what other areas? I have a whole list. But I want to hear your part, and I'm going to, be able to share some of my thoughts from the years of counseling and talking to young people, and the things that I have seen where you don't have those conversations. I'm telling you, things as minute as do you pay for DSTV? Which package of DSTV do you pay for? Or is it GoTV you pay for? What would you like? If you are paying for GoTV now, would you pay for DSTV if you have the money? Basic things like that. So from your perspective, Mr. Giwa, and Raleigh, I'm going to come back to you. What are some of these areas that we should be looking at? Key questions now.
We tend to begin this conversation from the questions that we should ask. But one major thing we leave behind is this. You're asking me the question, what do you expect me to say? To lie and tell you that I earn 35,000 so that you can walk away? Or tell you that I subscribe family on access, so that you subscribe premium so that you find me.
Okay, so I hear you, but I want you to take this conversation from that. I absolutely loved that scenario.
That's the first thing.
Exactly.
That is the first thing for me.
Yeah.
The first thing for me is not a question you ask, it's something you do. How do I validate the answers that this person is going to give me? Because for as long as you cannot validate the answer that the person is going to give you, the person might as well lie to you. Whatever you want to hear, I'll tell you. So that's where I will begin from.
Okay, so let me say this. This guy did not lie. Where do you work? I work in a bank. So when you say validation, she didn't follow up with a validating question. What you work in the bank as what? A teller, a managing director, a toilet cleaner? She did not. So that's the point I want you to start from.
What if she had? What if she had followed up? What if she had followed up and the guy had said, I'm a senior banking officer. It's not in the answer, because that might as well have been a lie. That he's a senior banking officer might as well have been a lie. At this point, that example you're talking of was one he didn't lie. He just maintained he wasn't completely open. But he could have lied. If he had been pushed, would he have lied? That's the first thing for me. So the first question that needs to be asked is not to the other person, it's to self. How do I verify whatever it is he tells me? Then the next thing is to look at the friends, because now you need independent sources to be able to get your response. Friends of the same feather, birds of the same feather flock together. You're not going to come to me as a guy asking me, my guy, how is your friend? Is your friend a good guy? What do you expect me to tell you? What do you expect me to tell you? He's my friend. No guy, nobody's going to burn the other person's cable. That's the reality we have now. So it has to come from checking when the guy knows that you're asking. Checking when the guy does not know that you're asking. Independent sources and all of that. You need to get your CIA game up. Now to the actual questions. Now to really answer the first part, which is, what does marriage mean to you? And that will help you break down certain things. For me, the first thing I'm looking at is, okay, so the person's religion ranks very high to me, right? So we're talking foundation now, because everything, the home needs to be a spiritual space for me. And if you guys are not, I think it's something that is said in Christianity, say equally yoked, right?
Yeah.
If you're not aligned on the same level, what are we even talking about? And the reason that is coming up is because from that alignment, from that spiritual alignment, this is peculiar to us here, because we're a very religious lot. Now, from that spiritual questioning, you will find out so many things that ideally will have caused trouble. You were talking about sex. Some people have not even had sex. And that's the reality that we have now. Male, female, there are people who have never had sex. So if you're asking a question about sex, and my spirituality in the first place has ensured that I've kept away from sex all my life, the questions that somebody who's had sex will be asking will be different from the question that somebody who's never had sex will be asking. That person will be looking at you like, but I've never had sex. What sort of question do you want me to answer? So that spirituality for me is the first bit. What sort of things? What is your creed? In Christianity, creed will be like sort of like your division. I've seen people talk about if you're from one place, you cannot marry someone else. Some people don't allow people to marry, and all. These are the things that we want to set into, like, before we even start talking about emotion setting and all of that. Check the preliminaries. Are these things, are they going to connect? If they don't connect, before we talk emotions, bye-bye, let everybody go their way. So that's the first bit. Secondly, again, by this time, I'm assuming that you would have found out a way to validate whatever answers you're getting. For a Muslim, you're looking at how spiritual the person is. This person is coming to be the head of the home, somebody that does not pray. And somebody said, oh, ask him if he prays. No, if you ask me if I pray, I'm going to tell you, yeah, mashallah, I pray and all of that. No. The person said, let him come to your house.
He has
beard. Everything nice.
Like the sister said, once he has a beard.
This is what they say. The person said, Soji Afa. Soji Afa is the one I want. He's a Soji guy, but he's an Afa. I know. And the lady is already getting sold on a script that does not even exist. Let him come to your house. Don't let him know when he gets to your house. Don't start asking him theory. It's time for prayer. Call everybody in the house. Let him lead prayer. That one, you will know how far. Either he's going to goof or he's going to run or something. If he can pray, that one, you don't need to ask. A person who can pray doesn't necessarily pray all the time, but at least you have one verifiable fact. If he prays well, he knows how to pray. A person that knows how to pray is more likely to be a person who would pray. I mean, and you build on all of that. That one, one side. Okay, so somebody's talking Sufi, Saleh and Catholics, and okay, giving examples of people that cannot, the creeds that don't. Somebody said
Agree. Yeah.
brother code will come in. Anyway, so those are examples of spirituality. You need to be able to establish what sort of thing this person is. When you're on phone calls with the person, don't ask the person, do you pray? I'm going to tell you that I pray. Look
Yes.
out for. In the period we've been on this program, I have taken a little break to run off and run back. Nobody knows what happened. But see, you will know when you're on a telephone call with a guy from morning till night, he did not tell you it's time for prayer. Let me quickly go and pray or stuff like that. He doesn't pray. If he prays, you will know, because you will be checking him when he knows you are checking him. You will be checking him when he doesn't know that you are checking him. So you will know all of these things. It's gone beyond the period of when you ask somebody for something. I will lie to you. A guy that wants to lie will lie to you. And nothing will happen. That's the first bit. Now, when we move away from spirituality, we're going to health, compatibility, genotype. You see, we've not started talking emotions, or we've not even agreed, though. But just still on
not agreed.
this one, we're on the surface. We're on the surface. We're still checking genotype. This one, does it match? Does it not match? And all of that. People check genotype and then they forget other things. Rhesus factor and all of it's there. Now, I'm going to put. There is one topic from health generally that links with sex. It's not necessarily sex. A few years back, I saw one document from the Redeem RCCG, right? And I think you might help confirm this. It was a document about tests for sexual viability, of a person. No, not HIV.
Yeah, no,
whether
sexual
the thing can stand.
Because there have been cases of where this whole idea of
people will go in
before marriage, and then they go into marriage, and the guy not get action. The thing not the
you understand now. You know that this is quite different from what do you like, how do you what sort of feelings. This one is it even happening in the first place? Because these are deal breakers. What do you expect will happen? You go into a marriage, you've got issues and all of that. These are things that medically can be verified. Now, we are different. Some people would say, some people have experience and some people do not. Examples of people who have experience are people who are widowed, divorced, separated, and stuff like that. Some people do not have. There is no shame in it, though. If you like big something, and it is an absolute real breaker for you, you have a right. If it means that much to you, you have a right to speak about it. And these are tests that can be medically verified. Don't let somebody go to their own hospital to go and do something for you. You pick a specialist place that you trust. Let the person go. They're going to run a complete medical examination. In the medical examination, part of it will include size and length and whatever it is you guys want. Bros, you are looking to get married to me. It's not no magic about it. These are the things that are important to me. If he loves you enough and wants you that much, he will do whatever it takes. There's nothing to hide. Wait, what are we talking about? I'm looking to get married to you. Why would I? Come, let's go and do the test tomorrow if you want. Today, now. These are important things. Now, this is where sisters will tell you, but we're supposed to be, thank you. Somebody said visit his workplace unannounced. Yes, that sort of thing. Because if he knows that you're coming, then he will prepare now. I know this with, especially, this happens especially in the bank, and I'm not even going to go into details, where we will be there in the banking hall. No, banking hall, but the marketing area of things now. And a lady is coming to check a guy who we know is not even a banking staff. I think he was put there for a third party something, maybe for MTN or something. He's not even a banking staff, right? And he's just there. And then the guy is coming, but because in the banking hall, everybody works like it's like a family. And then before you know it, The manager has stood up from his own office, is out, and then the guy goes into the manager's office, sits there, and then everybody's just acting like he's the guy. We'll fall into this thing now, and then the guy too will call and bring me something, and everybody will be in on it. Male, female, we will laugh when the babe goes, and then so the married woman will be like, hi, and this girl does not know that you're a rubbish person, no, and we'll laugh about it. But guess what? That girl is going to go home feeling like, oh, I met this guy, he's the manager. No, come underground. Come underground, tip Megad or tip Gateman something and say, I am looking for this person. I'm looking for the manager. What's his name? And say, is he Oga this thing? You say, no. Is he Oga this? So no, the other manager. When they call out the name, say, okay, maybe he's not the manager. Maybe he's not the manager. And then you call his name. They will jabber and tell you the truth. These are the sort of things that happen. Brother, sorry that maybe I might be burning cables small, but this is how it is. You can't depend on what...
Somebody is not happy. He said, look at the question. Why will you come if I don't invite you?
Why will you come if I don't invite you? I did not come for you. I did not come for you so that you will set the script and give me your game. No, I am coming to do my own individual verification. And there was a case I handled one point, and the lady, I mean, these things were just too much. And I had to ask her, like, sister, did you not do any checks before did you not do anything? And she said, I told my uncles to do it. Sister, stop telling your uncles or brother or father to do anything. They are not going to be loyal to you. Not like they're going to lie. They are not going to be as committed to you. They will go ask neighbors. How many neighbors even know me, know my name, know what I do? Neighbors are probably going to tell you, oh, he's just going on his own, JJ. He's a good man. He doesn't... What does a neighbor know about the actual things that matter? Or is it the friends you're going to go to? Friends who probably helped him. Is friends that will be calling you our wife. And then they know the real our wife somewhere. Are those the people you want to entrust? But you see, wait, Anna, Sister Rani, you will come. While you are cooking, we'll be teasing you and be calling you Yawoa. Yeah. But we know in our heart of hearts that room that is locked, the real Yawoa's load is there. These are things that happen. We need to be real. So for as long as you have entrusted that person with whatever story that the person is about to say, you have failed already because that person can lie. So we've spoken about health and those things to check, right? It's when we move from that point, we now go to other things like, okay, this is now second stage. I'm beginning, I like what I see so far. Now I'm beginning to consider you. We now look at what's the person's character like and all of that. And again, character is not...
Hold on, Shamsidin. I want to talk to Hassan Taiwo. I gave this caveat at the beginning. This is Hard Talks with Imi. On this show, we don't take prisoners. We are not here, whether you like it or not. And I told everybody at the beginning, if you feel uncomfortable, please go off the show. This is part of the problem. Bank is not bank. If you...
You are a cleaner in the bank, you are a bank worker, you are not a banker. So you need to let them know.
Oh, somebody, okay, bank is bank. Take it like that. Bank is not bank, oh.
You need the portfolio.
Banking hall is not even banking hall. Let's even break it down. So banking hall is not even banking hall. The fact that you work in the banking hall does not mean that, and be straight about who you are. People have lied and chopped babes, plenty. Okay, what? On this issue, it is very, very important for you to know. Don't look at where the person works. Ask key questions like the person's job role. What is the person's job role? Not necessarily this thing. And if job role is not even enough information to you, you want information now out there, so you have an idea of what every role, what sort of financial package comes with every role. You can easily Google that and you can get it. But again, that would be an assumption. If it's important to you, go for it. Ask for it unapologetically. This person is asking for you to commit your life. How can you be asking me to commit my life and you don't want to talk about the important things? And you're saying bank is bank. Bank is there's no bank is bank. Brother Hassan, bank is not bank.
My cleaner in the bank is not a banker. He's a cleaner
The
in the
cleaner in
bank
the bank
working
is
for
not
a
a banker.
third-party company.
And it's even important for anybody who, if we're going to be completely honest, yeah, anybody asking, so when we talk about bank, people say bank because they associate a sort of financial
Correct.
status to it.
Comfort.
See, a teller works at the bank. A teller is a banker. But if the reason for asking is to find out job role and be okay with it, then a teller will sound okay to you, right? But if the reason you're asking is because you want somebody who earns plenty money, then you will continue to look at the teller like that teller lied to you. But there's nothing wrong with being a teller. Just that if we're asking these questions, let us know. That example that Auntie Ini was talking about, that the guy said he works at the bank. Yes, I work at the bank. And you're telling me, but you didn't tell me you're a contract staff. Why should I tell you? Why should I help you to burn my own cable? For goodness sake, cable that I'm trying to lay. You ask if I work at the bank. Yes. Why should I then come tell you that, tell you the things that will twist it? No, I will keep quiet because nobody wants to blow their own cables. So no, bank is not bank. Now, we've spoken about that. We've spoken about health, and then we come back to, now we talk about, okay, what sort of family does the person come from? And now you're beginning to get like, okay, preliminary. So that's like when you're looking to get into a job and you do tests. Now you pass the test. Now we'll get to interview proper. Interview proper is when you now ask the detailed questions, things about family, things about personality, things about temperament. Now, temperament is one that I typically tell people. I say, don't listen to what the person tells you, because the person can lie.
Watch.
Observe. It's going to be there. And for people who go, oh, how long should a courtship last? Should it be 1 week? You say, but we did it in 1 month and we got married. Yes, it doesn't mean you can't get married. It doesn't mean it's not going to work. But a person who goes in with full mindset of finding out things and uses 1 month is going to have less time to discover things than somebody who uses 2 months, 3 months, and all. Now, you can't know everything. And that's one key thing that people keep talking about. What's the essence of it? You can't know everything. Yes, you cannot know everything. The intention is not to know everything. The intention is for you to know enough for you to be, you want to build with the person. You don't want to jump into the marriage and already built marriage. I want to build with you. It's like when people look at you at the bank and you're coming in with BSc accounting or economics or whatever. It is not what you learned in BSc economics that you will do. That's, somebody can come with BSc Yoruba and still come to the bank and do the same work that you're doing. The BSc is to check that you have a mind that can be trained. That is why at that point you then go to training school to go and learn their actual work. Is for you to, different people will come from different fields and they will still learn it. Now, that courtship at that point is like your BSc that you're bringing to see that, okay, I can build marriage with this person. It's not that it's a foolproof thing that, oh, just because we had extensive courtship or whatever, then it means that everything is going to be fine. You can court for years. I keep telling people I had a very, very long courtship, and this was because life happened. We're talking 7 years of courting. It wasn't intended, but hey, things did not align. More like things did not align for me quickly, and she decided I had shown her enough for her to wait. Where people would come and people would mock her. People would mock her. At times she would come to me, cry. This person said this, that person said that, and all. And I'd be like, don't worry, it's going to be fine. And all. We're talking people you consider to be friends. But then, at the end of the day, it still happened. Now, I'll tell people, the fact that I waited 7 years and it worked for me, I'm not going to tell anybody to be waiting 7 years. Life did not happen. My conditions are different. What are you waiting for 7 years? I don't think that you need that much. However, I also don't think that you can get to know a person effectively in 1 month for you to be talking about marriage. Circumstances are going to differ. You get that's too little because that's the shorter. They will hide everything. It makes it easy for me to conceal all of the things that you want. And one thing that happens, and I don't understand how it is how a man walks into your family home. He's never spoken to you, and he's asking your parents for your hand in marriage. And now, Intentions, right? Good. You've gone to declare your intentions. Have you spoken with this person? Have you approached this person? What do you know about this person? And the person will be like, oh, I've done my research, I've done my findings and all of that. And then and all of this is not even still the issue. The issue now is the person wants you to come and give your own answer immediately or in 2 days. You took however long it is, you were stalking me secretly, asking people about me, observing. You did everything in a very long period of time, and then made the decision, this person is good enough for me, I want to ask this person to marry me. And you're now rushing the person to give you an answer in a day or two. I tell people that is a massive red flag. Anybody who is trying to rush you, they will rush you into a mistake. And that's another thing. Now, career, income is key. But so now I'm not talking finance, I'm talking income, the ability to earn. And this is a very, very sad topic for me, because every time you talk to women about the need to own, the need to have your own, the need to be first for you, you hear, but the man is supposed to take care of everything. And I'm wondering, like, wait, do you in your mind not wish to, do you not view yourself like, I wish to have my own. I don't want my wife to be my wife. I want her to be, and this works a lot for me because I speak with everybody and all of that is done.
But Shamsuddin, I hear this a lot with women, but also a lot of Muslims have this idea because, you know, there's this hadith, or is it in the Quran, that, you know, the man is the head, which is also in the Bible. The man is the head of the home. The man is the maintainer of the woman. So she can't buy Panadol with her money. The man has to pay it back. She can't, even in marriages where the children are there.
How is that even coming up?
Why
is that even coming up?
And yet
the ability for a woman to earn
be regarded.
No, it should not even come up. The ability of a woman to earn has got nothing to do with the husband's role. We're talking about you first, person, adult. The ability of you to earn should not even be linked to your husband's role. Is your husband's role. We're not even talking about the roles of a spouse now. We're talking about you, your person, as a person. You might be doing your work and you don't earn money. Whatever it is that you earn from it, even if it's 100 billion. Sister Riley spoke about how she earns and her husband does not. I don't need the guy is comfortable. No matter whatever money she has, the husband can still do his own. You're not working for me first. Yes, a woman that earns works doubles as a backup for a man. In case there are times that I'm broke, I'll be like, Madam Afana, let me structure me something there. And she'll be like, okay, let me send this to you. I have this, I have that. It doesn't change.
Because you see,
is binding.
That is about value. It is about value. Bringing value to the table. This young man called Hassan, you see, these are the kind of mentalities that we are talking about and that we are trying to change with programs like this. This young man called Hassan Taiwo is here saying, that men lie because women want to hear big things that women hardly consider, so they tend to forget about. Now, people like this are the ones that don't have any income or are managing, and as the ones that say, marriage is better than zina. Do you understand?
Let me pause you there. Let me pause you there and ask you a question. So what he said, do you think is true or false?
I totally agree with him to all intents. But again, remember what I said, that is the mindset we're trying to change. You as a man, you don't need to lie about who you are. Then young girls, please stop looking at the car he drives. Stop looking at, the house he lives in, that, like somebody said, he might just be squatting. Stop looking at the way he dresses. He might just be borrowing the clothes to come and see you every time.
Yes.
So he is right in both ways. But I'm saying that this mindset of, we keep doing this because that's what women want.
Absolutely.
How does it situate you as a person, as a man? How does it situate you?
I tell people anyway that if you have to lie about these things, you're already a loser, right? Somebody came, it was that same post you were talking about, and somebody put up a comment saying, leave this one just they talk marriage counselor for there. It's because you are married. That's why you're talking like this. And I say, guy, it's not about being married. Come correct all day, any day. It doesn't matter. If you're broke, if you're rich, a girl will find. Look, I know this because this happened to me. This happened to me. Now, I would want to. Okay, back then it was Mr. Biggs. It was Mr. Biggs we used to go to, and then
We
she
have
was
5 minutes or 10 minutes to go. So
I'll squeeze this in, and she would come to my place. She'd come to my place, park her car. So she was driving a Vibu there. Padded. She would park it. Me, I did not have a car, and I was not going to scrub in anybody's car. She'll park the car. Me and her will trek back to Junction, enter taxi to go to Mr. Biggs. Buy whatever it is I want to buy. Come back. She would drive her car away. I did not have. She had. So it's not. So I absolutely agree with what you're saying there. That a person doesn't need. You don't need to lie and form all of these things. If you come correct all day, any day, there will be somebody who would be ready to build with you. And if you also have a place that you're going, you have a destination that you're going, then you wouldn't even need to lie anyway, because it'll be easy for anybody to see that this is where this person is going. Let me key into it. People, when you have something serious going, people want to align with you. They want to help you get there. So that issue of lying is out of it. I don't know.
Let me come in here.
Oh, okay.
If you see Mr. Ubon King said, what validates you as a person? And I can see Babalola asking that if you say we shouldn't look at those material things, what should we look at then? What validates you? When you remove all these aesthetics that makes a man or a woman, who are you? And that's part of what I tell people. When you go, what will you be remembered for? That is more than all these feferettes, all these cars. And I always tell people, I said, I'm one of those people that I don't know the difference between cars, as long as the car can move me from point A to B. So if you park in front of my house, sometimes my husband will show me, say, that is, what's all this range? There is one that look like fish. That is a Benz. I said, it's Benz, not Benz. So I'm looking at the man that I'm talking with. I'm looking at the way he treats me. Does he tell me, oh, sorry, Raliat, oh, you look pretty today? Raliat, I don't like that headgear you are having. Then when he's opening when we go to restaurant to eat, that when they put water in front of him, does he say thank you to the waiter? Does he give tips? Those are things that make a man or a woman. Those are the substances you look out for, not the form that they come in. Does he take you like he can afford tantalizers? Then he now takes you to Mr. Biggs. Or does he tell you that, Raliat, I can only afford Mr. Biggs once in a month. Can we do the next outing? Can I buy something and you cook in the house so that I can have something at home? Even when you leave, let me have something to eat and so on. So don't look at what the man is all about. Like Shamsuddin said, shave off the beard. There are lots of guys now that wear this beard that are not Muslim. We call them SBAs. The younger ones SBAs and the older ones SMAs. Sweet Boys Association and Sweet Men Association. That is the people that wear it. So most of the people that wear it, they are not all Muslims. So we should go beyond that. If a man does not have character, it will become a habit. So you must first of all look for security in love. The way the man values you. The way I tell women, the way a man treats his mother, will tell you the way he will treat you. That is one. The way a man treats his sisters will tell you the way he treats you. The way a man, if they can lock you and a man in a room or in a space where there is no phone, there is no television, there is no radio, there is no book. Can the two of you hold conversation? Can the two of you stand each other? That will tell you if you can be partners, life partners. So this conversation can go on and on and on and on. Like I said, Sister Ini, it's not something that we can trash in one session.
We can't. You can't. So I really want to thank you so much. I really want to thank you. And I really want to put up this question again to say that we are saying you should not look at, that means you have not been listening to us for the past 2 hours. If you are still asking this question, character is important. I remember when Shamsuddin put on his page that virginity is not the
They will start dragging me here again. No,
wait. Virginity is not what you should be looking for. Everybody went there, but that's the truth. Character, whether in a man or a woman, is what you should look out for. How does this person treat the people around him? How do people talk about him? Who is he when people are not looking? She said something just now. Can you be with this man inside the house and he will not be wanting to touch you, wanting to grab your breast, wanting to touch your bum bum? Does he have self-control? Because or else he will end up sleeping with your mates and then you'll be looking for prayer points all over the place. What kind of a person is he? Does he read? What does he listen to? What kind of music does he listen to? If he's always listening to science or legbo, science legbo, then you know the kind of person that
Auntie, give me 20. Auntie, give me 20 seconds to add to that thing you just said.
Okay,
so I think there was
yeah.
So there was a post that went out today. Was it today or yesterday? So the conversation extended till today, and we were talking about because I know that I sometimes put love notes to appreciate my wife. She's gone through a lot that people don't even know about. So sometimes this is how I do my own thing. But what I notice is a lot of times you have the ohs and so lucky and all of that. And the last thing I would want is for anybody to then, I know this happens a lot, to then go meet their own husbands and they start asking, can't you write something like this? Can't you post me? No.
You would have seen this from the beginning. Is it the kind of
you would have seen it from the beginning? Don't go in and then you start asking somebody who was never like that to come and become like that. He was never like that. If this mattered to you, you should have checked it up front. What we have today with a lot of women is that they are now in it. Yes, it matters to you, but that ship sailed. The ship where you have to now manage. The ship has gone. What you have now is manage what you have.
That you have put on the fire.
These things are better. They are better avoided. They're better avoided.
Exactly. So you need to, if you're already in it, you need to be able to look at how do I manage this situation? Can I begin to build conversations? But today we're talking about before you go into it. You said character. What if he pretends? He will pretend if he knows he has already told you he wants to marry you and you have already said yes. So he's going to pretend until he gets you inside his house. These are what
that's the thing now. We were talking about lying. The person saying that women look for big things, that person is going to likely give you the story you want to hear.
Exactly, the story you want to hear because you've already accepted before doing your due diligence. So do your due diligence. And just to round up, what are some of the things that you need to do due diligence upon? All the things that they've said today, Mr. Giwa has said it. It's about sex. It's about finances. Like I said, sex. Mr. Giwa has explained it. You don't need to sleep with the person to know whether he has there are tests, medical tests that can be done if this person is sexually fit, to have children, to even you see some people get married 10 years, 15 years, they don't have children. The man is refusing to go for checks. He gets on with his family and they begin to harass you, yet he has a problem. His sperm count is low, but he can be treated, but he's refusing to go for medical help. So don't be clouded by religion. What is his financial state like? How does he spend money? Does he talk about joint accounts? Will he want joint accounts? Is he the kind of man that, you will never know what he earns? He never wants to talk about what he earns. You just know that he brings cars today. That's why I find it worrisome when a woman's husband is caught as an armed robber and she says she doesn't know what he does. Yes, he buys you cars, you drive it, but you don't know the source of his income. You don't know how much he is earning. You don't know what he does for a living. I don't know what exactly the problem is, really. You need to do these checks. Spiritual beliefs. Where will you live? Where is he living currently? If he's living in a room and a parlor, does he have a dream to move to a flat? Or he's fine with that? Is he stingy? Does he have ambitions in life? What is his ambition? What is his dream? Does he have any dreams to be better than he is?
This will take me 10 seconds to answer this person's question. Faisal Titulapaola, you said character, but what if he presents, I want to imagine at the time you're with him. That is why I said, you check when the person knows you're checking. You check when the person does not know you're checking. It's complete. Don't depend on friends. Friends can lie. Don't depend on family. Family will cover up. Do your own individual checks when the person is not even looking.
Tinola said, don't be in a hurry. that your friends have married. Don't be in a hurry, because you will get into trouble, and then you start managing and you start going from one asalatu to the other, from one church night vigil to the other, asking people to pray for you. Please stop it. People have problems, they need to pray about themselves. You do your due diligence before you go in. It is very, very important. Talk about family influences. Like somebody said, how does his father treat his mother? If he has brothers or sisters that are married, how do they behave in their homes? You know, Rally has gave an example of somebody that the father-in-law told the guy, this girl, when she gets angry, she can burn a house. So he said, I will manage. Now she wants to burn him and burn the house. And then he's complaining after marriage. So you need to check these things. Infidelity. What does he think about sleeping around? So that's not that he will not be saying, hey, my husband cheats. I have been praying. But they will tell you to go and pray.
That one,
Pastor will
every
say,
guy
you
will
know,
lie
it's your
on.
fault.
Every guy
You
will
have
lie
to
on that
carry
one.
on. You don't need to ask him. You need to look
Don't
at
break
it.
the
It
table.
is very easy. It's easy to check. What does he think about household duties? Some girls are stainless. Some men, they cannot boil water. You know, how will he help you when you are pregnant and you don't have any help? You know, these are, you can, and please be mindful. In asking this question, you don't need to ask directly, like our guests have said. You can
Yep.
watch, you can notice, you can observe. You are not, you have sense. You understand. Don't be in that place where it is only the things you ask with your mouth. No, there are some questions that you can answer by just observing and by being very smart about it. What kind of role does he want to play in the marriage? Is he going to be a passive observer? And when you have children, you are the one that will take care of the children. He just wants to say he has a wife and children. He has no idea what is going on in the life of the family. Is it that kind of person you want? Or is it somebody that is, actively participating in the marriage? Because many homes today, the man is a visitor. So his own house is a visitor. He has
Unfortunately.
no idea what is happening in the house. Is that the kind of man you want? Some women depend on the house girl to do everything. She cannot cook, she can't wash, she can't clean, she can't take care of children. She will paint her nails like this and carry it like this. These are really real issues that you need to talk about, that you need to know. What does love mean to him? We've talked about that. Like you said, if you are the type that likes your husband to give you PDA, public display of affection, hold your hands when you go out, and he's the type that doesn't like it, and you think that he will change when he marries, he will give you backhand slap in public. You need to be conscious about these things. What would you do? You need to find out what is the one thing that you would do that is a deal breaker, that you will never forgive me? Is it when I sleep around? Is it if I slap? I remember my husband, we had our own session. We had it for we were on this matter for years, because me, once bitten, twice shy. I will ask every question. I said, brother, you see, as you came to my house, I watched DSTV Premium. I paid my money. Please don't come here and say you cannot take over and be paying premium. I should watch Access. There will be problem. Or what do you think about it? And we had a conversation about finances. Who will spend what in the marriage? This is how he sees it. This is how, and I say, oh, I don't agree. This is what I think. He says, oh, I don't agree. This is what I think. We discussed it. One of the things he said to me, and I asked him, what is one deal breaker that you will never forgive me? And he said to me, if you disrespect my mother. If you disrespect my mother. And I have seen the way he treats his mother. Like Tinola asked, have you checked how this person treats his mother? Have you checked how she treats her father? How does she talk to men? How does she talk to men? Is she disrespectful to men? Is she always wanting to fight men? You need to ask those questions. Another question is here, what is the relationship between your parents? Are your parents still married? Are they divorced? Is one dead? Is one alive? When they were alive, what was the relationship? What did you see? What kind of home did you grow up in? Did your father used to slap your mother? Was it okay? Did you witness domestic violence? We never talk about these things. We never talk about them. And I think it's time we talk about them. I am begging you, as we end the show, the time is never enough to talk about these things. But I noticed that we will have to do this one more time. So, my dear guests, we're going to have a part 2, but I'm not sure we can do a part 2 on Saturday. So maybe we'll take it on till till January. But we are going to start the year with the part 2 of this. So I want to encourage all of you to look out for it. just to take some more questions, and we will give you room. Take it that that part two will be your free counseling session, for you to take the advice that is being given, and things like this. Again, like we said, there are so many things that you need to talk. Somebody is asking about long distance relationship. There are rules to long distance relationship, that you need to know. So go and pay for counseling, please. Go and pay for counseling. Let people talk to you. Mr. Giwa is a certified counselor. Go and talk to people like that. Even the Madam Tinola that was, here, she's a certified. Look for certified people that will tell you the truth, not your aunties that will tell you and manage it. There are no men, oh, there are no men, oh. Let me tell you, there are men, oh. Olokolo konta kò sọ́kọ o, oko konta o. You can translate that for yourself. Let me tell you that. You understand? So please understand that there are a lot of men. A lot of them have pennies. That's what makes them men, but they are not fully men in the sense of the word. There's one sheikh that gives advice. I read one of his advice and I was really laughing. The guy said, "Oh, I married my wife. She came to live in our house. My parents slapped her and she packed out. What do I do?" And the sheikh said to him, "Well, it's unfortunate. You are a boy. You are not a man. And you should not have married her in the first place because you are still a boy. A boy is the man that lives with his parents. A man, a full man that is ready to marry, will go and get his own house before he marries a wife." These are things that you should see.
You
So
are
look,
about to open another. That's
you
it.
should look for proper people
It's
that
a
can
can
counsel you.
inside different
I
cans,
know.
because when we
If you
talk
come
about
to
family
me,
house,
if you
family
come to me,
house.
I will tell you the truth. If you come to Mr. Giwa, he will tell you the truth. If you go to Raliat, she will tell you the truth. There are people like that that will hold your hand and tell you the truth. With these few words of mine, I hope we've been able to convince you and not
I'm not
confuse you
confused.
Confuse you.
that premarital counseling, that is when you are dating, or not when you have said yes, or is very, very, it is more important than the marriage itself. It's very, very important. And I want to assure you that we will have part two of this in January by the grace of the Almighty God. I want to say thank you to my guests. Thank you to the over 100 and is it 260 people or over 360 people who have joined this evening. I am amazed. I'm looking at it from my Facebook and seeing the number of people that have joined. Thank you so much for joining. We will see you next year. By God's grace, God will keep us all well and happy. I want you to say thank you to my guests in your comments. Thank you so much, Mr. Shamsuddin. Thank you so much, Madam Ralia. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for this evening. And stay safe as the year ends, and may the Almighty keep us all. Thank you so much. Thank
Um,
you. Have a good
thank
evening.
you. Bye.
Bye bye. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. Bye.